Hello, I'm Sanja Markovic. I'm a senior SEO specialist at TransPerfect. Today we are going to talk about why technical SEO is important for LLM optimization. As search landscape is expanding, our clients don't want to be present only in Google search results. They also want to be present in LLMs. This means that we need to make sure that their content is accessible, crawlable for LLMs, and that they can actually see it and retrieve it. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that all the technical SEO best practices are put in place. In general, if you're following the recommended best practices for traditional optimization when it comes to technical SEO, you should be fine when it comes to LLMs as well. However, in the case of LLMs, there are certain areas that probably need to be addressed a little bit more. One of these areas is the reliance on JavaScript when it comes to make content. So we do know that Google is capable of rendering JavaScript and that they can render this content and see this content. However, when it comes to Google as well, we also need to make sure that we are not relying our main content on client-side rendering, because this will take a little bit longer for Google to process and index in the search results. In the case of LLMs, however, it's not proven, and it seems like the LLMs cannot really crawl and see this content injected by JavaScript. So this is why we need to make sure that if we are relying for JavaScript for our key content and our main content across our pages, that we don't rely on client-side rendering, but we go to more pre-rendering and server-side rendering. It is also important that our pages, they have fast loading times, because Core Web Vitals, they're a ranking factor for Google, but for LLMs, they're really important when it comes to retrieving information, because the fast loading content is easier for them to parse. Another aspect that is really important, and it's quite a little bit different between technical traditional SEO and LLMs, is the structure of semantic structure on the pages. So LLMs rely a lot on heading tags, on the logical structure of heading tags, and also the other elements that we are using across the pages, like tables, paragraphs, or bullet points, because this kind of structure of information makes them way easier for LLMs to retrieve information from the pages. Another important aspect when it comes to LLM optimization is structured data. Although there is no clear agreement in the SEO community whether LLMs are using or not structured data, in my opinion, I think it's very important, because structured data is very important for giving context for Google, and this is something that also apply on Gemini and AI overviews. But I also believe that ChatGPT, for instance, is also relying on structured data to understand what are our pages about and to give more context to the content we are offering across our pages. So I think this is definitely another area for optimization for LLMs to take into account. So what are the key priority actions to take for LLM optimization? Make sure your content is visible for LLMs. So if you are using JavaScript on your site, make sure you're not relying on the client-side rendering. Ensure that your pages are loading fast and your Core Web Vitals metrics are performing well. Make sure your content is following logical structure and that you're using heading tags and other HTML elements to give it a semantical structure. And make sure to follow these steps, not just for traditional SEO, but also for LLMs.